If you're trying to get your labor started, you may have been told to do the mile circuit to help baby engage and get labor going. In this video, we're going to break down what is the mile circuit, will it help to induce your labor, and what is actually going on when you're doing these different movements. Hey, my name is Gina. I'm a perinatal fitness trainer and birth doula and the founder of MamasteFit. And my expertise is in pelvic mechanics, and so how you can create more space in your pelvis to help your baby more easily navigate through. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what is the mile circuit, how is it creating space within your pelvis, and whether or not it could be a beneficial series of movements to do to help support your labor process. But before we dive into what the mile circuit is, I want to share that my book, Training for Two, is now available for pre-order. Training for Two is all about how you can use prenatal fitness to help support a strong pregnancy, a pain-free pregnancy, and also to help prepare you for birth. So in the book, we include tons of birth preparation exercises that help to create more space within your pelvis and to release tension within your pelvic floor so that you have an easier time opening your pelvis for your baby. You can check out Training for Two down in the notes below, and the book comes out September 10th of 2024. So the mile circuit is a series of movements that's supposed to create more space in the top of your pelvis to help your baby enter, and then it creates more space in the upper mid-pelvis to help your baby begin to rotate. And so this series of movements can be beneficial to help your baby get into the pelvis, which sometimes could be why labor is not starting. And so if you've been having more prodromal labor or start-stop labor where you have a bunch of contractions and then it just stops, it could be related to your baby's position, and this is where the mile circuit could be super beneficial. Now, if you're not having any contractions and you're just towards the end of your pregnancy, doing the mile circuit will not necessarily put you into labor, but it can be beneficial if you're already kind of having signs of labor. If you're in labor and baby is having a hard time entering into the pelvis, sometimes doing the mile circuit can be beneficial to help baby get into the pelvis as well. So the mile circuit is a series of 3 movements that are creating different types of space within the pelvis. The first movement in the mile circuit is the open knee chest position. So in this open knee chest position, it is a slight inversion that you can hold for about 20 to 30 minutes. And so that inversion can help your baby kind of adjust their position so they better align to the top of the pelvis. In addition, the open knee chest position is helping to apply some traction on the sacrum to pull it backwards a little bit more, while also bringing you into a little bit of an anterior pelvic tilt, which can help to change this pubic bone angle. And so that open knee chest position can help to create space in the top of the pelvis to help your baby enter or engage into it, while also helping them to better align themselves. And because it's not as intense of an inversion as like a forward-leaning inversion where the hips are much higher, you can usually maintain it for about 20 to 30 minutes pretty comfortably, but you do need a lot of support to maintain the position. So with the open knee chest position, this is going to be a very gentle inversion. And so I'm going to use a rebozo here, but you can use like a bed sheet. I've also used like a birth sling to help provide some support. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your long fabric and you're going to place it along the length of the thigh. And this is just going to provide more surface area so that it's more comfortable. If it gets all bunched up in the hip crease, it can just be kind of uncomfortable or painful. So make sure that that fabric is pretty spaced out. Once your fabric is really spaced out across the thigh, you're going to come down to the floor, and we're looking for an open hip position. So not wide knees. We want the angle of the femur and the torso to be greater than 90 degrees. So that is the open hip. In addition, I'm bracing her feet against mine so her feet don't slide out. And this scarf is helping her to maintain the position with fairly little effort. And so it does require a little effort for me as a partner. And so finding a way to kind of attach the fabric to something that's not a person can be really beneficial. And that's where like a birth sling could be really helpful as well, and is what I use during my own labor to help with my baby's position. So you would hold this for about 20 to 30 minutes. And what we're hoping is happening is baby is adjusting their head position and better aligning to the top of the pelvis. The next position that we're going to move into after 20 to 30 minutes of the open knee chest position is the side lying position. So in the side lying position, we're in open hip position. And so what this is doing is it's creating more space in the upper mid pelvis to help you begin to rotate. So we help baby align to the pelvis. We created a little space in the top of the pelvis to help them begin to enter. And now we're creating this asymmetrical space in the upper mid-pelvis to help baby begin to rotate into the pelvis. And so typically we're going to start with the left leg on our pillows, on our bolster, whatever that we're using to help support this open hip position, because most babies are going to be rotating from the left side. And so you would hold this for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we would move into the next position. And then the next thing that we're going to move into is an elevated lunge position. And you can do this with really any elevated surface. I'm using a box here. You can use your stairs, you can use your couch, but we're looking for another open hip position, but now we're much more upright, so we can really help baby get down into the pelvis. And so we have that open hip, which means the knee is away from midline, so another upper mid-pelvis opener. And then we're just going to spend about 20 to 30 minutes just kind of rocking into that left leg to help encourage baby to continue to rotate into the pelvis. After you do it on the left side, if you haven't felt a shift or a change, you can then do the movements on the right side of your body as well. So while the Miles circuit will probably not put you into labor if you're not experiencing any labor symptoms, if you are having more prodromal labor or your labors kind of start, stop, or maybe you've been stuck in early labor for a long time and baby's still kind of hanging out a little bit high in the pelvis, or maybe their chin is not tucked, doing the Miles circuit can help align your baby better to the pelvis, hopefully help them tuck their chin, begin to enter, and then start to rotate as well with the upper mid-pelvis openers. So the Miles circuit can be really helpful to help your baby enter and begin to rotate into your pelvis. So if your baby is very engaged in your pelvis and very low, doing the Miles circuit may not be super beneficial or helpful for you. If you want to learn more labor and positions to help support your labor process, especially if you're having a labor stall or an issue with your labor, be sure to check out our online childbirth education course where we break down a ton of labor positions that you can do to help, 1, move easier through your labor, and 2, address any issues that you may experience during your labor. It's important to note that different types of movements create different types of space within our pelvis, so there's no one movement that's going to solve every labor issue, and there's no one best labor position for the entirety of labor. And so you can learn more about pelvic mechanics, how to create space in different parts of the pelvis, and when to do those positions in our online childbirth education course. You can use code YouTube10 to get 10% off our online childbirth education course, and you can bundle the online course with our prenatal fitness programs, which are filled with daily workouts and exercises that you can do throughout your pregnancy to make it easier for you to create space throughout the entirety of your pelvis to save an additional 15% off. You can check out all of our courses on our website at MamasteFit.com. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you get notified whenever we release new videos to help support your pregnancy, your birth, and beyond.